In today's video, I'll show you a full GummySearch tutorial. If you're looking to research your audience, validate ideas, or find content opportunities using Reddit, this tool is built for you. In this video, I'll cover everything from account setup to features like audiences, advanced search, AI reports, sentiment analysis, and pricing plans. By the end, you'll know exactly how to use GummySearch to uncover insights and grow smarter and faster. Alright, so now let's start by going to the website of GummySearch. So you can use a link in the description so that you can do that easier. And then once you're here, you can now set up your account by clicking here on sign up for free, or you could log in if you already have one. And now once you have signed up or logged in, you will now be prompted in here into the audiences tab. So this is the first thing that you would see, and this is basically the main thing that we'll talk about. So here in the audiences section in GummySearch, this would help you explore and track Reddit communities relevant to your niche, and it's where you find real conversations, questions, and trends from your target users, which is perfect for idea validation, content inspiration, or product research. And inside this section, you'll see 3 tabs, which is the saved, curated, and trending. So the first one is the saved. So this tab shows subreddits that you have personally bookmarked. These are the communities you want to monitor regularly. GummySearch pulls in fresh posts from these audiences based on your filters, so you always have a stream of relevant insights. And here in the curated tab is a list of recommended subreddits based on your niche or keywords. These are not saved yet. They are suggestions. It's just a quick way to discover new communities worth tracking without digging through Reddit manually. So this would actually save you a lot of time. And as you can see, they are now curated by niche, pet lovers, software developers, AI enthusiasts, DevOps, and many more. Now, let's go to the trending tab. So as for this one, this is only for the paid plan. So if you're only in the free plan, you wouldn't be able to access this tab. So I'll be discussing the pricing plans at the end of this video. So first, I'll explore and I'll walk you through the GummySearch features right here. So here in the trending tab, this highlights subreddits that are currently seeing a spike in activity. It's great for spotting hot topics, emerging trends, or viral discussions that could spark content ideas or product opportunities. And this is where I like to start when I search for ideas like starting a new business or maybe just a hobby. So this is basically where I go first instead of the curated right here. It's just that my preference right here. So here we could see that we have some filters in here that could let us target our result. So we have the largest, active, and growing. So what I like is I go for growing right here. And then I go here into the sort. So you can sort by member growth. And then the time frame right here. Let's say that I would want to go for weekly. So I would want recent growing subreddits. And then the size. So as for this one, I don't want it too big and I don't want it too small. And I think the sweet spot here would be the 10K to 100K. So I think I would be able to compete here in these subreddits. Because if we go for all sizes, it would be too big and too small here on the sizes. As you can see, we have 4K members, 400 members, we have 6K, and the yearly and monthly, weekly right here. And I think this one is actually pretty good. And yeah, basically I just want to go for the size into 10K to 100K. And here it is. So now is that we will now be able to see a lot of subreddits in here, and basically what you'd want to look for is something that you are interested in. Like for example, here in styling help, you want to ask yourself, do I have an unfair advantage in this niche? Is there something that I could do better among other people in this certain niche? So if you do, then you can click here and add to audience. Then you would be able to get it saved here under saved audience, and then you'd be able to get updates in the subreddits when you go here in the saved audiences. And you want to also notice this values right here. And you can see here in the monthly, it's really good. As you can see, the bar is almost full. So this would simply mean that this subreddit is posting 9.45 times posts or comments this month compared to its average monthly activity. So it is really growing as of now, and especially in weekly, where it's doing 8.07 times better. And we have only 11K members, so I think this is pretty doable. And then we have more right here at the bottom, right there. We also have this one right here. This one is full. This is also what I like to spot right here, because this would tell me that this subreddit is actually active and it's actually growing, and I would have potential to make money from it if ever I put up a business there, because it's still hot. And yeah, there are more right here at the bottom if you'd want to. So I'm just gonna go with the first one because I think this one is really good. And I think with the styling right here in clothing, I would have an unfair advantage of that because I like to dress up as well. So I'm gonna click here on add to audience. And in here, you can select the audience right here. In my case, I don't have one. So I can just click on create new audience and type in the name of the audience. Let's say that I would want to go for fashion styling. Right there, click on add to audience. And now here we have it. Now we can go here into saved, and then we should now be able to see that right here. And from here is that I'm just gonna add one more right here. So I'm gonna go here again to 10K to 100K, and then I'm gonna go for growing right there. Oops, 10K to 100K, and here we have it. And now we would have a different result right here because it's in yearly. So let's just go for weekly as for this one. And then same thing. So I'm just going to go for something different right here. So something that I am interested in. I think I would want to go for the build in public. We have the side jobs, and I think I would want this side hustle right here. So it's not really doing that well, but I'm interested in this niche, so I'll just give it a try. I'm going to click here on add to audience. And then now is that you have this select audience right here, and you can create a new audience again if you'd want to. So I'm just going to go for side hustles, for example. And then in here, we now have this include similar subreddits. So you might have these options with the subreddit that you have chosen when you add it to audience. Some of it may not, just like in the first example. So in here, as you can see right here, we can also add the subreddits that is related to the subreddit that we have chosen. So for example, I'm going to go for this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and this. And yeah, I think I'm satisfied with that. And now I'm going to click on add to audience. And now from here is that I can now go into saved, and then we should now have all that subreddit that we have selected in our saved audiences. And basically the same thing that you can see here in curated. But as for this one, this is already done by GummySearch itself. And this is where you can see all the audiences that you have saved. And now we're going to open one of this. So for example, I'm going to go for this one that we did right here. So there's only one subreddit. You can always click here on add if you want to, and then add a subreddit, or you could discover community, like for example, styling. And then you'd be able to see the subreddit results right here. And yeah, this is if you still would want to add more. But I'm satisfied with this one because it's the only one that I have seen that is great. And in here is we could see the theme. So this is where we would really get the fun part or the really valuable information. So when you go here into the themes, we have the hot discussions, top content, solution request, pain and anger, advice requests, ideas, money talk, and opportunities right here. So as you can see right here, it says that small audience could have a low number of results. So it would really help if you would have multiple subreddits in your audience. As you can see, I only have one for this, and it's getting this notice right here. So the result might not be that great. So you want to also consider that the subreddits that you have added is of course related to each other so that the themes would be accurate. So actually, I'm just going to go back in here into the side hustles right here so that we would have subreddits. And then when we go into themes now, we would now have a lot of results, and that would be better and it would be much more accurate. Now that we have these themes, the first one that we're going to go to is the Pain and Anger. And this one is my favorite because I typically go with a mindset like I want to solve something for people so that I would be able to earn. So in exchange of solving their problem or their pain or easing their pain and anger is that I would get paid, right? So I'm going to click here on pain and anger, and now I'm going to go click here on patterns. Now in here, when you go into patterns, you would now be able to see the patterns of the comments of people right here from these subreddits. And then you'll be clicking here on find patterns, and it should be pretty quick right here. So you just need to wait for that. And now here it is. It is now done. Now we can see the patterns of the pain and anger comments from the subreddits that we have on these audiences. So here, let's go for this one. So there are a total of 10 for this one right here. So need money for food, badly need a side hustle, and many more, broke college student, and so many more right here. So basically, we are seeing the problems of the people right here in this community. And from here, I think it's pretty obvious that we will now be able to brainstorm on how we can solve this problem. So I suggest that you look for something that you are feeling the same thing. Like, for example, you also need money for food. Then maybe we can focus on this and make something that could solve this. Like you could offer some maybe some benefit for the work that you are giving, that you would give them food allowance, because we are currently in the side hustle subreddit. And we have more right here, like a broke college student. I'm desperate to be hired, looking for any job right here. So maybe you can make an app that would make hiring possible. And I know that it's already a pretty common app, but yeah, you get the gist. And how you do this in GummySearch, in Pain and Anger, you would get a lot of ideas right here. And we have here in frustration and with scams inside hustles, like this one right here. So maybe you could build something with credibility that they would not get scammed, that they would feel safe. And then challenges with remote work listings, loneliness and isolation in remote work. So maybe you could build something for teams that would make them feel more connected in work, even if they are in remote. So this would really work great right here because you are targeting the pain and anger. And as we all know, we would really like it to be solved because we're just humans. And next is that we have some other things right here. So you could also go for advice requests. So these are the people that are searching for answers to their questions. So this could also be an alternative to the pain and anger. But in my opinion, I like the pain and anger more. And you could also do them both if you'd want to. So again, you could click here on patterns. And then you could now summarize that, click on find patterns. And now here are the patterns. So same thing. You could also download these patterns right here if you'd want to take note of this or save this. You could also share this. You can reset. And then when you click on this ones right here, you can bookmark the 3 submissions. And then you can also see the author and then the date. And then you could also go to the Reddit itself. So when you click on this button, as you can see, I'm now prompted into Reddit where I would be able to see the Reddit or subreddit right here. And yeah, basically the same thing for the others. And I just recommend that you double check the stats right here, like the upvotes and the comments, because sometimes I've found that GummySearch is inaccurate, but most of the time it's fine actually. So yeah, I just like to double check that. And yeah, this is where you'd be able to see the patterns depending on what kind of theme that you would need, depending on your purpose. So if you are going for creating a business or a startup idea, then I highly suggest the pain and anger, advice request, and solution request. Because as for this one, this is where people are actively looking for tools, services, or fixes, which is perfect for positioning your product or offering. And one last thing that I would want to discuss in here is that we can click here on ask on each of this theme. And then from here is that I have one right here. So for example, I would want to ask the AI about, are there people asking about the best mode of payment for receiving payment from another country right here for the side hustle? So yeah, so we just need to wait for that, and the AI would actually be able to give you an answer based on your question by scanning the theme in this subreddit. So as you can see, yes, there are people asking about the best mode of payment for receiving from other countries. So for example, in the post titled, how do you handle paying people in different countries in remote payroll? So you could already see that right here. And then you should see that right here, the subreddit. So you can click on that, and then you can go into the subreddit itself right here by clicking on view. So this is a really helpful one right here. So for example, that the themes here are not really what you are looking for, then you can just use this feature to further narrow down into the result that you'd want. And yeah, the next thing is that I'm just going to go for a quick overview here on the themes on what they are about. So the hot discussions would be the posts that are currently getting a lot of engagement. So great for spotting active and trending topics. And then we have the top content, so high performing posts from the past month, which is useful for understanding what resonates most with the community. We also have self-promotion. So this is where people post that are promotion for their products, services, or content. And then we have the opportunities. So this is where posts are found that are discussing gaps, inefficiencies, or things that could be improved. And we have the news right here. So this one is where people post about updates, announcements, or industry developments. And then the ideas is where users share suggestions or brainstorming. So yeah, this is basically it for the subreddit right here. And yeah, that is basically it on the basics on how you'd be able to use the audiences section right here in brainstorming and getting ideas on how you would be able to get started with what you want to do with your startup or maybe your business. All right, now next, let's move on into advanced search by clicking on this icon. And in here, you can see that we have the audience to search. So you can go for anyone, side hustles, or basically these are the audiences that you have saved. In my case, I'll just go for anyone since I'm going to be broad. And I'm going to go for the keyword to look for. So as for this one, I'm going to go for something specific. So let's say that I want to find out something about dogs. So I'm going to go for dog food, for example. And then now you can click here on more filters. And this is where you can sort the newest or top hot. So I'm going to go for hot right here. And then the limit right here, I'm just going to go for 100. That's fine. And I'm going to go for week. So I would want it to be recent. And then you could also select the audience right here if you don't want to. In my case, no audience. And show advanced options. And you have more right here. So I'm going to go for the keyword dog food. And click on perform search. And now it will now provide us results right here based on our search. And here we are. We will now be able to find the results right here from Reddit itself. And GummySearch has now scanned that. And as for this one right here, we have a lot. So considering that dog food is actually a very popular niche. So in here is that we could select this comments right here from the subreddits, and we can see the upvotes. And then we could also go and bookmark this conversation if you do want to save that. And then we could go for sample bookmark, for example. Now we could save that, and then we can see that in anytime later on. And then you could also see the author right here. And here on the right side again is where we can see the filters. So we have the timeline, the stats right here if you're interested in that. And then we have the patterns. So again, you already know how this works. This is also another great feature. So in this way, you would be able to see the patterns based on your search on what is the problem in here. So when you click here on find patterns, you would now get the results here for the patterns. Like there are people seeking dog food recommendation for advice. So this is where you can see that. And then you can go into the Reddit directly into that, so you already know that. So yeah, basically this is it for the advanced search here in GummySearch. This is for something specific that you have in mind that you'd want to look for or dig into Reddit. So yeah, you could also click on the comments right here, and then you'd be able to see that directly, and you could even see the images on that post. So it's really very detailed right here. So you just need to click on those comments, and then you'd be able to see the details. And lastly is that we have the sentiment right here. So basically the sentiment here in GummySearch is that this would help you analyze the emotional tone of Reddit conversations. So I'm going to click here on Run Report, and it would now categorize the post based on whether they express positive, neutral, or negative sentiment, giving you a quick read on how people feel about the topic, product, or experience. So this would be very useful if you're validating a product idea and want to see if the people are actually frustrated or excited. And as you can see right here, the dog food sentiment right here is 62 out of 100 as for the rating of GummySearch, and people are saying that the pros are affordable, they are trout and salmon, human grade, and so on. And then you could also see the cons right here that people don't like or they don't feel positively about. So yeah, this is where you can see that. So this is also a really great way to target the sentiments of people so that you'd be able to add some more data into your decision if it's really the right one. Now let's go into the next one, which is the conversation. So basically it's tied to the audiences in advanced search. Like for example, when I go here into advanced search, and again, I'm going to go for dog food, for example, is that I can now track the comments in here and the keywords. So for example, here are the results right here. And I am really interested in these results, and I would want to get updated on what would happen in here or what people are saying in the next 3 days, for example. So to do that, I'm going to click here on track on the top right. And now from here, you can name your search, which is dog food, and then AI match criteria. So describe the kinds of posts that you're looking for. So I'm going to go for just dog food actually. So very specific to dog food. So I'm going to click here on track keyword right here, and now you'll see notifications for new matching conversations. Now you can feel free to add more if you'd want to, and you can go here into conversation, and then you should see that right here. And then when you click on that, you'd be able to see the results that is including the word or the keyword dog food right here in their comments. So in this way, you would be able to get all of the thoughts depending on the keywords right here or comments that you have. And then you can again go for the patterns so that you'd be able to easily recognize the patterns in here and what you're looking for, like for the pain points or whatever you'd want right here. So yeah, this is for the conversations. And then this is where you can see the bookmarks right here. So you could also bookmark some comments, and yeah, you could just click on a bookmark button on the comments, and then you'd actually be able to see that right here under conversations. Like for example, here, I'm going to bookmark something. Like for example, I'm going to click here on a bookmark button, and I'm going to save it into my sample bookmark, and then I should now be able to see that right here. So that's how it works. And yeah, it's a very simple tool right here. This is where you can track your saved keywords. And now let's move on to the next one, which is the AI reports. And this section in GummySearch gives you a high-level summary of what's happening in your niche based on Reddit conversations. So it uses AI to analyze patterns across posts and surface key insights. And as you can see that these are our history that we did here in GummySearch. And the reason that we are seeing our search history is because the platform uses it to generate personalized insights based on our past queries. So in short, your search or our search history powers the AI's ability to give us meaningful targeted reports without starting from scratch each time. So in here, we have our report. So now we can click here on view results for sentiment, patterns, citation, and many more, depending on what you did on your history. For example, I'm going to go back in here into dog food. So I'm going to click here on view results. So as for the sentiment, right here, again, we would now be able to see this graph. So the same thing that we saw earlier. So this is where you'd be able to see that again, if ever you would want a quick way for you to go back into that without performing the search again. So yeah, this is basically it. And then we have the AI minutes used. So this would actually be dependent on the plan that you are on here in GummySearch. This is also where you can monitor that. And now next is that we have this help button right here. So there are some help articles for GummySearch. If you have any questions, then you can feel free to go to their knowledge base, or you could contact their customer support in here so that you'd get a live human being for support in your questions here in GummySearch. You could also go for feature requests and the release log so that you'd get updated to the latest features. And next is that we have the account. So this is where you'd be able to see the subscription plan, the day pass right here. So if you'd want to try GummySearch for 1 day, this is where you can avail that. We have the email address, and then the notifications. And then lastly is that we have the 3 dots right here in the bottom left, wherein we can see the blog and examples, release log, feature requests, affiliate dashboard if you want to be an affiliate, and the service status, wherein you could see the features in GummySearch if they are actually performing well. All right, so now let's proceed to the final one, which is the pricing. So here in the free plan is that this is for beginners who want to explore Reddit communities and get a feel for audience research. And the key features here would be the discover communities and then keyword search, which is limited to 50 in total. And then you'd get subreddit insights. So this plan is great if you are just starting out and want to test out the waters before committing. Now, you could also go for the starter plan, wherein this is for indie founders, early stage startups, and solopreneurs validating ideas or researching markets. So everything here in free is included in starter, plus you would get unlimited keyword searches, keyword tracking, AI-powered customer development, and pattern detection with AI. So this plan gives you the tools to go deeper, ideal for validating solutions and finding early adapters. Next is that we have the Pro plan. So the Pro plan is for growth-focused creators, marketers, and product teams who need advanced insights and automation. So everything in starter is included here, including the free plan. And then you would get advanced Reddit search, content performance reports, Slack or Discord integration, and then trending subreddit tracking and product review insights. And as for the mega plan is that you would get everything from the lower plans, plus you would get enterprise usage limits, shareable reports, and multi-user support, which is coming soon. So this is for high volume research teams, startup studios, and content agencies doing deep audience analysis. So this is built for scale and ideal if you're running multiple projects or collaborating across teams. Now, if you would want to save as much as possible, I suggest you go for annual plan. You might have to pay big upfront, but in the long run, it will be a huge save. And from here is that, for example, you will be choosing the starter plan. So I'm going to click here on buy now. And you just need to provide your email address, and then you can make your free account if you haven't already. So after you have created your account, you will now be prompted in here into the checkout page. And from here, you would be able to get the week trial right here just to see if GummySearch is the perfect fit for you. And it's only $10, which is already a great deal because after this, you would be able to get a day pass, and that is $10 also. So as for this one, you would get a week compared to a day, so it's already a great deal. And then 7 days free for the GummySearch or the plan that you have chosen. And then you'll be paying this much right here per year since we have chosen the annual plan. You could also go for monthly if you want to. And yeah, that is after the trial ends. And then you could always add a promotion code if you'd want a discount. You want to use our code, which is GS10. Click on apply. And then you'd be able to get 10% off. You could also use that after your trial has ended so that you can use it when you are paying the annual fee. And that way you would be able to save more because this is a percentage-based discount. And then once you're done, you want to provide your payment information, click on pay and start trial. And that's it. You have now signed up for GummySearch with a paid plan. Now you can use everything in that plan here in GummySearch. So that's it on how you could use GummySearch, everything you need to know. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.